All right, Sean, break it down. Donovan Mitchell traded to the Cavs.
So my initial thought when I first saw it, when the Woj tweet hit at 3:33 p.m. yesterday, was holy, because it was a big move that was completely unexpected. The initial reaction, obviously, is the Cleveland Cavaliers now, on paper, have one of the best offensive backcourts and one of the best defensive front courts. You look at you look at a guy like Colin Sexton going in return to Utah, a guy who literally a week, like literally was gonna have to sign like a qualifying offer like next week, was getting almost little to no traction in the free agency market, now is a main piece used in Donovan Mitchell trade. I think for Cleveland, this is a huge step. And if you're looking at this from, like from Detroit's perspective, I think a lot of people are feeling like the sky is falling and are freaking out a lot. But, this is more of a risk than people recognize. The Cavaliers gave up 5 picks total, 3 unprotected first round picks, 2 future pick swaps. So this has to work out for Cleveland, because otherwise they have a lot of draft capital in this going forward. However, I mean, they got one of the better shooting guards in the league. They got one of the more dynamic athletic scorers in the league. And to pair him alongside Darius Garland in that backcourt, on paper, definitely a scary team offensively.
Sean, I have to ask, you said they have to accomplish something really special. What is that exactly? Honest to God, because is Donovan Mitchell the best player in the East? And if he's not the best, is he top 3? Is he top 5? Is he top 10? Like, what is the realistic expectation moving forward with Cleveland? They have Evan Mobley, and now they have Donovan Mitchell. It's a hell of a young core. They still have other pieces around them. But
Garland.
I want to know, is it, we're going to contend in the conference, or I think we're just going to be a really good team in the regular season, but I don't see them getting anywhere in the next 3-5 years. What's the breakdown look like for Cleveland?
This is a team that definitely can be contending and towards the top of the Eastern Conference over the next couple of years. I think the key for what this roster has going for them is not only do you have 3 players that are current NBA All-Stars in Jarrett Allen, Darius Garland, and Donovan Mitchell, but you also have a guy in a future All-Star in Evan Mobley on the wings as well, which is what makes this trade so unique and so special, is the fact that they still have all this talent in their arsenal. Now, the thing about this trade that makes it complicated is that if you're looking at the grand landscape of the current Eastern Conference of the NBA, it is one of the deepest Eastern Conference we've had in a long time. Even just within the Central Division, you still have Giannis, Drew Holiday to deal with. You still have Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, and Lonzo Ball. So just because the Cleveland Cavaliers went and got Donovan Mitchell doesn't mean it's a guarantee. And for them, they are going to have to see some promising signs soon, because Donovan Mitchell only has 2 years left on his contract, and the Utah Jazz acquired unprotected picks that all take place after that contract expires. So Utah's gamble here is Donovan Mitchell isn't re-signing. So that's the type of thing that Cleveland's going to have to look at here, is we're going to have to put something together relatively quickly so that we make sure that he stays and we're not screwing ourselves over in the future.
And Sean, we talked about this last night too, about just that Central Division alone. It's a bloodbath. I mean, you look at the teams, especially in the next couple of years, where the Pistons are going to be, the Pacers are trending. This division is tough. And I want to ask you, how does this trade affect the Pistons, affect the Central Division, but also how does it change, if it does, your expectations for the Pistons this upcoming season?
Yeah, Jeff, you brought up a great point, man. We brought it up on From Half Court, which you can go check out, by the way. Shameless plug here.
Yes,
no
sir.
shame whatsoever. But here's what I will say, Jeff. First of all, the Central Division might be the best division of basketball both right now, but it definitely will be in the next year or two, because the Detroit Pistons this time next year are going to have over $60 million in cap space. In theory, they're trying to go after the similar plan that the Cleveland Cavaliers have right now. So when I'm looking at like how this affects the Pistons, like what the bottom line is, like how this affects the Central Division, I think right now it just adds a lot of depth. I think if you're looking at like from Detroit's perspective, you're going to have to face Donovan Mitchell, Evan Mobley, Jarrett Allen, Darius Garland 4 times a year. and that's not counting, your off night in the Central Division is against Tyrese Halliburton and Benedict Mathurin. And even though that team's going to be in the Victor Wembanyama, like, #1 overall pick sweepstakes, that's still not scrubs by any means. So it just shows that, like, the balance of power in the modern NBA is at a point that, unlike where we ever seen, parity was something a few years ago that we were saying was a genuine problem. That's not a problem right now.